Ritas originally formed in 2005 because I was in another band at the time called Helvissa, and I wanted to do something. It was getting a bit electronic-y, and I wanted to do something more guitar-y. And I said something random like the Ritas, ha ha, because me and Olivia had the same haircut at the time, and they said, "Oh, we look like Rita Tushingham, ha ha, we could call ourselves the Ritas and form a band." So Olivia said,
"Yeah."
But we never really did much. We tried to cover All Over the World, which is a Françoise Hardy song.
Didn't work.
No, and we tried to do our own one, which was called Always Pick Last for the Team, which was probably a little bit too Morrissey-esque. So, and then 2010, I just wanted to play my. I don't know, for various reasons, I wanted to play my guitar again, just dick around with it on my own mainly. And then Olivia said, "I want to sing." So we thought, and then Olivia said, "Bring back the Ritas."
Yeah.
So we have brought back the Ritas, haven't we?
Yes,
yes.
we have.
Yes. Noisy.
Yeah, I suppose it is kind of riot girly.
Yeah.
In some respects, even though I hate that term.
Yes. I suppose it's, although I am now segueing into the next question about the influences and stuff, but I suppose it's like, I don't know, I mean, when I was younger I wanted to be in a female version of The Who, and I wanted to be Pete Townsend. So which I suppose there is an influence of that, because I do sort of do a bit of windmill action, although I did that in at the RVT in London and knocked over my microphone stand on stage, so that was nice and embarrassing. I suppose it's like, if you imagine, it's like if the Manics and the Smiths and Morrissey solo and Suede had vaginas. There you go. That's yeah. But they don't sing about their periods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important. For both of us, it's sort of stuff like the Manics and Suede and Morrissey, and we both really like girl garage as well.
Yeah. So sort of 60s girl groups.
Yeah.
Shirley Bassey as well.
Yeah.
Not gonna love Shirley.
I don't know if you're a big Shangri-La's fan, but I am. So I'd put them down as a big influence on me, just because I think I like the trashiness of it, I like the dramaticness of it, and then also people like Coil and Can really influence Too Much Talking to Machines, which is just a song that we come on stage to usually, and
with me doing the talking.
Yeah, it's Helen on vocals, and it's just me playing a pedal bin, which is lovely. But that's where I get kind of my industrial influences from. Is mainly from Coil.
I pity my faithful, humble desk, a projection of myself. Too much talking to machines.
Too much talking to machines.
Too much talking
Too
to
much
machines.
talking to machines.
As a guitarist, my favourite guitarists are people like Pete Townsend, who I've already mentioned. I like, there's lots of 60s stuff I like the Kinks and the Small Faces, the Rolling Stones to an extent. I like people like Bernard Butler, I like the Pixies, but I prefer Kim Deal's stuff that she did with the Breeders. That's probably quite a big influence on me in terms of how I write bass lines. They're quite influenced by that, because it's almost taking over it sounds almost like a guitar solo, except it's happening on the bass, which I suppose then feeds into me liking Joy Division and New Order. I think as well I really love Graham Coxon's solo stuff. He's a really good guitarist. I mean, there's other stuff I like as well. Like, I went through a big phase of liking what's called freak beat, which is kind of like, I suppose you call it British 60s garage music. And I would listen to that, and then I'd listen to Frank Sinatra and Julie London and stuff like that. And I suppose in a way you could say the Ritas are sort of like a cross between garage and garage punk and loungecore in a way.
Yeah.
I think you could say that.
Yeah, I think for me as a vocalist, one of my main influences is David Johansen of the New York Dolls, which you probably wouldn't kind of think of when you hear me sing, because I'm not as, you know, loud and shouty as he is, but he is kind of my main influence in terms of vocalists, I think, and Brett Anderson as well, very much so. In terms of a duet, I'd like to do a duet with Christine Young.
I thought you were going to say that. I thought she was going to be in my list of vocalists.
Yeah, I love Christine Young. Who would you like to duet with?
Well, the list is never ending. I personally think we should do a big mashup with the Manics, basically, which means I could just mime and James Dean Bradfield could do all the hard work. Well, I think Olivia has a favourite at the. I got confused earlier and called it the Trotsy Betwood, but it's actually the Betsy Trotwood in London.
Yeah. I just thought we played the best we've ever played there. It was our last gig that we did, and yeah, I just really liked it. And we had gold miniskirts on, so obviously that's, you know, extremely important.
It was quite a nice little. I mean, it's very tiny, little tiny basement, but yeah, it was good. We were tight. I really enjoyed supporting Boz Bora when we supported him in February. He was doing his he does solo stuff, but he also has this little band called Happy Martyr. We supported Happy Martyr at the Barton's Arms, which is a very nice Thai restaurant as well as a pub. That was quite nice. It was a bit nerve-wracking to start with because of equipment issues, but you know, and in a way I was a bit nervous about playing in front of somebody like Boz because, you know, he's worked with Morrissey, he's worked with Edwyn Collins, all sorts of people, so I thought, God, I'm going to look really rubbish. But he was such a nice guy, and we got drunk on Sambucas talking to Boz, so that was always fun, and then danced like idiots. So that was good, you know, not just as the performance, but as kind of an evening out. It was quite an important evening out. Oh look, I suppose me and Olivia, I suppose we look quite vintage, don't we? It's something I've done since I was about 16, and I've kind of mixed it up with indie stuff, and sometimes I'm more vintagey, sometimes I'm more indie-y. And obviously I run a shop called Pin Up Parade, so when we wear our matching outfits on stage, because that's kind of like a joke in the fact that we often wear matching outfits without meaning to.
Stop them up on a hillside, and I'm up in a car. Put a little flush in that baby, just for love, and then we write about it, stay up all night about it.
I had these dresses made. I have a Swagger Joint, which is my dress label, and I design dresses, and so I had them made up, like special custom ones just for us to wear on stage in like red with little black collars, so those look quite nice. So that was kind of intentional, but then we go to the other extreme of wearing the little mini skirts, which was kind of partly influenced by Girl Garage. That was the idea behind that. But wearing boots with it as well, because I had my Docs on, because I have problems with shoes and feet in general, so I had to wear those and looked elegant. So that was kind of like feeding into Riot Girl, so like that really.
In terms of the videos, I kind of get most of the inspiration from those from Free Cinema, which was a documentary movement in the 50s and 60s. I'm really influenced by that, especially for the video for Silent Protest. Came to me after watching Alphaville by Goddard, which I had a breakdown to a couple of weeks previous to filming, so that was fun. But yeah, I mean, if I had a breakdown and it gave me good inspiration for the video and it turned out well, then fine, I'm okay with that.
Silent protest, silent protest, I suffer my new
In terms of people we get our own personal style icons, I suppose. I mean, in terms of being on stage, I think I look to people like Shirley Bassey, and the day that I can go on stage in a floor-length sequin dress would be amazing. Who do you think is the most glamorous person in the music industry today? Well, we've already mentioned Shirley.
Yeah.
The other Shirley from South East Wales would
Nicky
be...
Wire of the Manics.
He's got his own personal style and he does it well, you know,
Yeah.
and the other two Manics just sit there in their Berghaus dog walking jackets.
But they look lovely too.
They do look lovely
Okay.
too. But then they're next door to somebody wearing his
A
face...
leopard print miniskirt.
leopard print miniskirt and
face
a
full of
captain's hat and, and a jacket with children's cloth books stitched all over it for some bizarre reason. But, you know, and he does it well. He does it with style.
I'd give bands in general advice, don't get into the music industry, because as soon as you want to buy into that, then that's your biggest mistake for a start.
This is true. I think, you know, if you want to be in the music industry, you should be like Jessie J and you know, fall over in a pair of shoes that are too high for you and then go on stage because you're a right trooper with your leg in plaster like a plonker. Because I'm sorry, that's so not rock and roll, just go away. But she's not rock and roll, is she? She's a corporate doodah. You know, I think you have to go into these things because you enjoy doing it. And I really like writing songs with Olivia, writing lyrics, playing my guitar, recording songs, and I just genuinely enjoy doing that. I like doing the gigs and stuff like that, but I really, you know, there are things you really enjoy. And I think you have to really enjoy this. If you go in thinking, you know, it's the music industry, then, you know, that I think that's the advice, is do it because it's fun.
There's no future for the Ritas. We're going to split up after this interview.
Yeah, that's it, we've had enough.
Sick of her.
Yeah.
Hate her.
I mean, every time I look at this woman, she looks different and I can't work it out. It's like a subtle thing and it's weird and it freaks me out and I don't like it. In other news, we just finished recording this afternoon the vocals for She's With The Band. And we're going to be doing a downloadable 2-track single on Oddbox Records. Oddbox is run by this guy called Trev, who put out the first band I was in. He put out our second album on his first record. Like, well, this is getting confusing, but anyway, basically. But Trev also puts on gigs, so Trev was the one who had us on at the Betsy Trotwood. And then he said he wanted us to do a downloadable single, and it's going to be free. So there's no excuse not to have it, because our other EP you have to download, you have to pay for, unless you go on Spotify.
They could use it as a ringtone.
Yeah,
you know.
You can use it as a ringtone. It's amazing. So we're going to be doing that. We have written stuff for the album. We're sort of slowly going through the process of recording it and writing more stuff. So there is definitely material for an album, but it just depends if anybody wants to put it out.
Oh, actually, you can't see. Please. Please put it
Please. There we go. That answers that question.
Yeah.
The EP was, well, we did Jean, and then we had the chap from Dufflecoat Records, Gary, who said he really liked Jean and he wanted to put it out, and he offered us a split EP initially. But then it turned out, because we were writing stuff, we turned out we had enough material to do a 4-track EP. So it's got the cover of Jean by the Smiths, which is... Boz actually said he quite liked what we did with it, because we kind of beefed it up a bit. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the Smiths version, although I think ours is better personally, of course. And not really. So we've got Jean on there, we've got Glitter and Doom. Originally we were going to call the EP Glitter and Doom, and the title came about because I was in a library and I saw a book it's like a catalogue for an art exhibition about Weimar German art, and Olivia is very much into her Weimar German art. And it's called Glitter and Doom, this exhibition that was on. I thought that's an amazing title, and I said we have to do something with that, either turn it into a song about Weimar Berlin, as you do, or do it about certain kind of, I said, it sounds like something to do with the Manics.
Yeah.
So
once she kind of planted that seed in my head, I decided to write Glitter and Doom about some certain aspects of their fandom, which is slightly dodgy and slightly over the top and slightly frightening.
Unfortunately, Tom Waits had done a live album, I think it was, called Glitter and Doom. Now, I worked out that he'd actually named it that after the Weimar Berlin thing, so I think he must have named it after it as well. So, hoping to avoid people accusing us of being Tom Waits fans, we decided...
Really not.
We decided to call the EP Silent Protest. And in a way that was kind of quite nice, because it kind of feeds into, there's a lot of protest at the moment because of the Tory government. I will say Tory government and not coalition government, because I don't think Nick Clegg has very much influence at all. Silent Protest is, initially it was about selective mutism, which is a certain sort of condition that people can have, especially with learning difficulties. So it was partly about my brother who has selective mutism and just doesn't talk. And it's kind of to do with this idea of just shutting down because of the complexities of the world around you. And I thought, well, actually, in his own personal life, he has, that's partly why, but also for people going through the world as it is at the moment, it's almost like the only sane reaction in some cases is to be silent.
Took me to the psychiatrist, and I pretend that I exist. All the sadness inside me, all the words I cannot breathe.
Feeding into that, of course, is the protest movement, and people feeling frightened about protesting because of the way that they get treated by being cattled and stuff. I was on strike in July, and we were actually told to be quiet because we were chanting. So in fact, silent protest. There it was, right in your face. So, and the other song on that EP is "How Wrong I Was."
Yes, which I wrote after there was a band. Probably most people have forgotten about them because they were so bloody atrocious. They were called Brother, and then there was another band called Brother, so they had to change to Viva Brother. But they were big Morrissey fans, so that's how I kind of first discovered them. And I saw one of their videos where basically they were just using naked women in a bath as some kind of set. It was just like they were just mannequins, and they were pretending to play guitar because obviously girls can't play guitar, and they should just sit in a bath and pretend to be lesbians. I just kind of got sick of seeing so much of it, because it wasn't just them. I just see it a lot.
You guys bring out the feminist in me. It's a music video loving epigen promo. Using a practice to gain popularity with no room for originality. I thought we'd progress from here. I thought we'd progress from here.
What are they called? 4-door cinema club? 3-door? 2-door?
2-door
Thingy anyway, cinema club. Crappy cinema club. They had a similar video, but I think they had a load of women in baths.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's a bit like the Blur video for Country House, which Graham Coxon was really hated at the time because he was going out with someone from Huggy Bear. So I think his girlfriend gave him lots of stick for the video, and he was just, I don't have any control over the content of this terrible video, I'm sorry.
So it was, I wrote it just from seeing those videos, but then once we started gigging, I felt even more strongly about it because it was so relevant, because people do patronise women, they still do it, and a lot of blokes just seem to think this doesn't exist and it's something that we're created in our minds because we're horrible feminists. But I mean, the first gig we did, they assumed automatically that we were the support act.
Even though we were the headline act, because the support act were both blokes.
So yeah. So I think for me that's like, I feel very strongly about that song even more now.
Well, we would like to perform on the bandstand in the park.
Yeah.
It's actually long been an ambition of mine since a child to do a gig on a bandstand.
I think I just want to do it because of the prisoner factor. Really, it's very prisoner-esque.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we should do. I think it's really good that people have been getting bands to play and stuff, because you do get the impression that Bearwood is the kind of place where there are a lot of musicians doing stuff, and it nicely brings everything together. And lots of, I went to I've been to a couple of shuffles, and I went to the one that was in the church hall, which was like pleasantly Father Ted-esque, I thought. And it was quite nice, that there were these different bands, and then there was the sort of super group that was made up of people from Broadcast and UB40 and stuff like that. That was kind of bizarre, but it was just quite nice that everyone was getting together. Obviously we'd just come on and shout, and probably it would be best if children were not present or else had earplugs in. But other than that, yeah. Unless you want to hop on a train to London, I'm not sure you'll see us at the next gig, which is on Tuesday the 4th of September 2012 at the Royal Vauxhall Tavern.
Which is one of my favourite places. Especially the night that puts us on as well, bar whatever. It's an amazing night down there. I love it.
They showed Olivia's film.
They did. Very kind.
Olivia's protest film about them scandalously refusing to give Central Library a listing, making it a listed building and knocking it down.
Yeah. Because
you're going to regret it when you've knocked everything down. You can't just keep erasing.
And if you want to go and watch that film, you can see it at oliviasparrow.co.uk. Thanks.
Yeah. Moving swiftly on to the gig following that. Friday the 28th of September we are playing the Victoria in Birmingham, supporting Falling and Laughing, who, strangely enough, are big fans of Edwyn Collins. And then after that, Saturday the 27th of October 2012, we're playing at the Actress and Bishop. Again, that's in Birmingham. So thank you for asking to interview us. It means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.